Hey tubers, it's Pot Boys live from space. So today I'm going to, we've been talking about all the different conspiracy theories. I've shown you UFO clips. I've shown you, just all this different information. So today we decided that we think you're ready to hear the full conspiracy. As in, the mother of conspiracies, this will be the one. So I want you guys to really pay attention here. I've hinted around a little bit to world conspiracies and how the government is set up to basically maintain an order over the people. Now, this conspiracy theory will connect all of those pieces together, including the UFO sightings, including the information regarding Donald Trump, regarding all of the UFO leaks, as well as some of the other videos that we have on our channel. So one of the things that I've never really talked much about on YouTube is the Illuminati. Now on my blog, in fact if you go back to the very first blog post on my blog, popboys.wordpress.com, and if you go back to my very first blog post where I'm basically explaining what we are, I did put a little hint in there. There's a picture at the bottom which you should maybe take a look at if you have time. So this video is going to include some excerpts from True Blood, Conflict and Creation, as well as Blue Blood. So two really good books to read. So again, going back to the Illuminati, and this is going to take a while to explain because a lot of other conspiracy videos don't give you the full picture of what the Illuminatus actually is. So this video is going to literally explain to you from beginning to now, and I think you'll be quite surprised. So the leader of the Earth's Illuminati is called the Pindar. The Pindar is a member of one of the 13 ruling Illuminati families and is always male. The title Pindar is an abbreviated term for pinnacle of the Draco, also known as the penis of the dragon. Symbolically, this represents the top of power, control, creation, penetration, expansion, invasion, and fear. The holder of this rank reports to the purebred reptilian leader in the inner earth. So again, if you've watched my previous videos, I've mentioned how a lot of science is theory-based. So the scientists actually don't really know what the core of the Earth is. So again, the holder of this Pindar rank reports to the purebred reptilian leader in the inner Earth. So for some of you may have asked your science teacher in elementary school, how do they know the temperature of the Earth's core? And you realized that it was then theory. Recently, there are reports that the Marquise de Lebeau is the Pindar, but this is disinformation. The true current Pindar is the head of the Rothschild family, as has been for several hundred years. In the late 1970s, he oversaw the sister project to Montauk called MALDA, M-A-L-D-A, which is an anagram for Montauk, Alsace, Lorraine, dimensional activity. This project was located near the city of Strasbourg, France, historically once part of Germany. So again, it's going to sound far-fetched, but I really want you to pay attention to this conspiracy because, again, this links all of those conspiracies out there that if you are interested in conspiracy, this links everything together. Everything from world, politics, religion, aliens, everything. So interestingly, there's a winery on the east end of Long Island, not far from Montauk Point, called Pindar Vineyards. This wine is growing in popularity, gaining international accolades. This fits nicely into the plan as this area will be a part of the capital district of the Earth United Nations in the Empire State. So again, this is the plan. They're attempting, if you remember the like Star Wars in the Empire, they are trying to create an empire state, okay, a ruling state for the entire world. Again, going along with the world government. So red wine, if most of you don't realize, is symbolic of the blood ingested by reptilians. So again, it goes into the Bible. They talk about drinking the wine, right? It's been changed. So the wine can become sanctified, as it did in the Roman Catholic Church, a patsy for the reptilians. So again, the Roman Catholic Church is nothing but a patsy, Okay? In the Catholic Church, wine replaced the blood in ceremony. The Illuminati here on Earth have established a pyramid structure of control identical to the system that exists in the Draco Empire. The pyramid with the reptilian eye located on the American $1 bill is symbolic of this control structure. The eye is the cap on the pyramid, thus explaining why the original surface of the Great Pyramid of Egypt was capped in solid gold. The pindar is represented by the gold cap on the pyramid. The next layer or eye on the pyramid represents the 13 ruling families. They are as follows: the Rothschilds, which of course is linked to Bauer or Boa, Bruce, Cavendish, which is connected to Kennedy, de Medici, Hanover, Habsburg, Krupp, Plantagenet, Rockefeller, Romanov, St. Clair, which also goes under the name Saint Clair, Warburg, which is also related to Del Banco, and Windsor, which is Saxe-Coburg-Gotha. Each of the 13 ruling families is given an area of the earth and or particular function to fulfill on the earth. These particular functions include global finances, military technology development, mind control, religion, and media. Each of the 13 ruling families has a council of 13 as well. The number 13 has great significance to them. They know that there are 12 types of energies that pass through the 10 aspects of God-Mind. The totality of the 12 energies equals a 13th energy. This is considered the most powerful knowledge. They also know that there are really 13 zodiac signs, not the commonly acknowledged 12. So again, you can look back in my videos. I've done a video where NASA just updated the zodiac signs to 13. I'll put a link in the description. They have kept the 13th hidden for centuries because it is the sign of the dragon. They keep the qualities and the traits of this sign secret to avoid giving away clues to the reptilian mind pattern. The Pindar is actually born on January 3rd, January being 01 and the 3rd being 03, which equals 13. The next layer is the second in command families who do the support work for the Pindar and 13 ruling families. While all of the 13 ruling family members are shapeshifters, all members of the 300 supporting families are not. They do, however, all have a high percentage of reptilian DNA. They are known as the Committee of 300. These families include such notable names as Agnelli, Balliol, Beale, Bell, Bouvier, Bush, Cameron, Campbell, Carnegie, Carrington, Coolidge, Delano, Douglas, Ford, Gardner, Graham, Hamilton, Harriman, Hines, Kuhn, Lindsay, Loeb, Mellon, Montgomery, Morgan, Norman, Oppenheimer, Rhodes, Roosevelt, Russell, Savoy, Schiff, Seaton, Spencer, Stewart, Taft, and Wilson. There are many others which it would just take me too long to explain. Again, the Committee of 300 includes many people. The Committee of 300 use many well-known institutions to accomplish their goals, including the Council of Foreign Relations, the Bilderbergers, Trilateral Commission, Club of Rome, Royal Institute for International Affairs, the Mafia, the CIA, the NSA, the Mossad, the Secret Service, International Monetary Fund, the Federal Reserve, the Internal Revenue Service, and Interpol, just to name a few. All of these are private organizations or corporations set up as public service devices, but this is far from the truth. So again, people think that these organizations are public services when they're actually private corporations. The Illuminati structure also creates artificial countries to further their goals. Examples of these are the United States. Yes, again, most people won't believe. These are artificially set up countries. They include United States, Switzerland, Kuwait, the Soviet Union, or rather the former Soviet Union, the Panama, Israel, Italy, Yugoslavia, the United Kingdom, most of Black Africa, all of the Arab countries, and all of Central and South America. These nations were created to amass wealth for their ruling families and their supporters, to hide or keep their wealth, and to create unstable conditions necessary to start wars or increase military budgets. Switzerland was created as a neutral banking center so that the Illuminati families would have a safe place to keep their funds without fear of destruction from wars and prying eyes. The United States was established with 13 colonies, one for each of the Illuminati families. The original flag had 13 stars and still has 13 stripes. The eagle, the symbol of the United States, holds 13 arrows in its talons. The United States is actually a corporate asset of the Virginia Company that was established in 1604 in England with direct involvement of the Rothschilds. The finances of the Rothschilds were necessary to fund the exploration and exploitation of the North American continent. The assets of the Virginia Company, including the United States, are owned by the Holy Roman Empire via the Vatican. This occurred in 1213 when King James gave all English assets to the reptilian Pope. Executorship remains with the British royal family, but the actual ownership lies with the Roman Catholic Church. The United States of America is not named after Amerigo Vespucci, as you learned in school. The Illuminati would never name a continent, actually 2 continents, after an Italian mapmaker. The name is actually a combination of words. Am, which is the Hebrew word for the people. Ame is also command form of the Spanish Latin verb to love. Eri or Ari is a Hebrew term for lion. Rika is the feminine form of the Spanish word for rich. And Ka is the ancient Egyptian word for soul or spirit force within a body. These are 2 layers of meanings. So the ancient Hebrew and the Egyptian translate to say the people of the lion with spirit force. Hence the pyramid and all-seeing eye on the dollar bill. The Latinized version translates to say love riches in a feminized physical reality way. This gives an idea of what they had in mind. Now take this a step further and one sees the mixture of the feminine Latin eagle ideas with the masculine Hebrew lion ideas. The symbolic statement of America is that it is a combination of Lemuria and Atlantis, a blend of the human and the Lyrae with reptilian Draco. The combination of these 3 civilizations would produce the most powerful technological empire ever known. Now, in 1776, the creation of the United States as an independent nation coincided with the declaration into public existence of the official Illuminati organization by member Adam Weishaupt in Bavaria. Publicly, Mr. Weishaupt appeared to be determined to create an organization comprised of the European elite that would uplift mankind. Of course, this was part of the Illuminati global ceremony. The creation of the United States and the Illuminati organization were artificial beginnings for public consumption. The United States was the device to be used to bring the Illuminati into public acceptance. Current Illuminati members believe that Adam Weishaupt was a lookalike for George Washington, and is actually Weishaupt's image that appears on the $1 bill today. George Washington was a wealthy slave and plantation owner. He is known to have raped some of his female slaves and used some of the male slaves in ritualistic ceremony. There are many people of the black race who can literally trace their genetics to the founding fathers. George Washington also ordered the building of the Montauk Lighthouse in 1796. This lighthouse included an underground area for supply storage in case of a British coastline invasion. If he had only known what that area would become, or did he? The 13 ruling Illuminati families constantly vie for control among themselves. During this time period, the Spanish, British, and French Illuminati all fought to win control over North and South America. The Rothschilds kept these Illuminati factions in line by sending Haitian troops to monitor the situation. The leaders enjoyed these war games, pitting one against the other to see who would win. The hundreds of thousands of lives lost were meaningless to them. So again, if you're, thinking of, this sounds a lot like Game of Thrones, doesn't it? Because Game of Thrones is based on reality. So the manifest destiny of the United States was created to expand the territory of the Aryans at the expense of the native populations. As always, the Illuminati seek to destroy native peoples and their cultures. This is an attempt to destroy their knowledge of God-mind, as well as the possibility that the natives will impart this information onto others. Especially important is their need to eliminate native cultures with ancient knowledge of Atlantis and Lyrae. The natives that gave them the most problem were the Cherokee Indians, because this tribe retained the most of their Atlantean knowledge, even accessing the bare Bigfoot frequency for information. For this reason, these people were uprooted from their homeland in the southern Appalachian Mountains and forcibly marched to Oklahoma on what is now known as the Trail of Tears. Many died along the way, Only a remnant remained in North Carolina, Tennessee, and Georgia. In the north, the vast Iroquois Mohawk nation was disbanded. The Montauk, direct descendants of the Atlanteans, who called their leader Pharaoh, were systematically eliminated. Now, the Rothschilds were aggressively involved with the slave trade from Africa, importing slaves to North and South America as well as the Caribbean. They were very careful not to import blacks from the eastern areas of Ethiopia or Sudan, where the descendants of Solomon were located, instead concentrating on Western and Central Africa for the slave populations. These areas had the pure mixture of Anunnaki and Simian genetics, and the programming desirable for the Illuminati agenda. The Rothschilds decided that splitting the United States colonies would double their profits, so they politically created and financially supported the Civil War. The Civil War was actually a global ceremonial ritual to bring slavery to its next level. The war allowed the North to win and publicly abolished slavery. The best slaves are the ones who do not realize that they are slaves. So let me point that out again, because I've mentioned that in a couple of videos. Okay, the best slaves are the ones who do not realize that they are slaves. This alleviates rebellion and resistance, right? This was the status immediately following the Civil War. Blacks in the South are still slaves. There is still segregation even in the North. The Illuminati still consider blacks to be second or third class citizens, only now the slavery is subtle and masked. So again, there's a lot of truth here, right? There is still slavery today. In fact, 99% of the population are unwitting slaves. So those in power consider the mass population, other than the Illuminati themselves, useless eaters, and they have used divide and conquer techniques against the populations to keep them from uniting. Because, and here's something that the people need to really keep in mind, you need to remember this, once the bottom of the pyramid unites, the rest of it collapses. So again, looking at the pyramid, everybody's at the bottom of the pyramid. Everybody. So if those people on the bottom unite together, the entire pyramid collapses. Because what happens when the bottom of the pyramid unites is they take down the rulers. And currently, right now in 2017, there are less than 200 people, or rather 200 families, who own over half of the world's income. Literally half of the world. The income of half of the entire world goes to less than 200 people or 200 families. So again, billions of people. So we're constantly told that there's 6 billion people in the world, which I'm not sure whether that's actually even true or not. But the fact is if those billion people wanted the world to change overnight, all they would need to do is take down those 200 people, or less than 200 people. Wouldn't even be a very large job, take you maybe a couple of hours. So since the Civil War, and this is how stupid, that's what I mean, this is how dumbed down and stupid people have become. The mass population will suffer. Their children will starve before you'll rise up and actually do something about it. It's disturbing. Everybody is so mentally ill, and I see it all the time, but most people aren't aware because they've been completely indoctrinated into the society that they live. They don't question what they've been given, right? Nobody does. The paradigm right now for the society is they're trying to destroy critical thinking, and what they do is they call critical thinkers conspiracy theorists, because again, it immediately makes you think, oh, this critical thinker is actually just stupid, and they'll believe whatever. But a critical thinker will actually look at the evidence, they'll look at what they're being told, they'll try to find facts around it and then come to their own conclusion. That is a critical thinker. Many scientists are critical thinkers, many aren't. Again, some scientists are playing the game exactly how they're being told to. So going back since the Civil War, there have been other staged wars that entrenched the trend towards globalization. Now, the Spanish-American War of 1898 and 1899 acquired more land for the American Illuminati, placing a greater portion of the Earth's surface under American jurisdiction. So World War I was designed to change the map of Europe as well as test germ and chemical warfare technology for future use. This coincided coincided with the worldwide influenza outbreak designed to reduce the global population, making control easier. World War I also laid the foundation for the German role in the next war. So again, I mentioned this in previous videos, that there is no real choice. Wars are created, the politics, the people who you are able to vote for are pre-selected, so your choice is virtually non-existent, or rather the common people's choice doesn't exist. World War II was a test of the final globalization and extermination projects. It was also designed to test mind control, to test the use of fluoride, which deadens brain activity and slows resistance to authority, to experiment with slave labor camps and study the development of resistance, and to teach the masses to spy and report on one another. Some people believe that Alex Jones is actually like a beta test, in which they're testing the development of resistance. So I don't believe that myself. I certainly hope it's not true. But again, it's been brought up before that you've made $1 billion, so I'm not sure if it's $1 billion yet, but you've made quite a few million, and was it 100 million or something, and people are starting to question where that money's coming from. A lot of people are saying that it was actually a peace offering to get him to control the, I guess you would call, the fake news paradigm. So World War II brought 3 primary goals of the Illuminati to fruition. The first was that hidden Illuminati symbolisms were brought to public attention from the underground strongholds in Tibet and Egypt, such as the swastika and the ankh, as well as the pyramids and the pentagrams and the... The second was the creation of the State of Israel as a foundation for the New World Religion, and last was, of course, the creation of nuclear weapons as part of the Illuminati global ceremony. So during World War II, the Germans helped to perfect sex slaves as a means of transmitting information among the elite. Most people don't realize that sex slaves can be either male or female who are sexually programmed using Wilhelm Reich procedures, which are illegal in the United States but used by the Illuminati and the world government or shadow government. These sex slaves deliver messages and keep programmed sleepers in line. The sex slave is downloaded with a message or function through various sexual acts and drugs, which can only be released by repeating the same sexual act with the target or person to be activated. This sounds far-fetched, but it actually is real. There is patents that exist for these, which are quietly sealed away. They are trained to know their target's trigger words and trigger events to activate, delete, or change programming. So again, mind control isn't anything new. This has been going on for almost a century, probably a couple of centuries. In recent years, several women have come forward claiming to be sex slaves of globally recognized political figures. Many were used as information couriers between high-level male Illuminati. So usually lookalikes of political figures are used in the incipient programming as a focal point for the sex slave. So the sex slave is put through a desensitizing process, so there's no pleasure in the sexual act. It's merely a duty to be performed. Many times the slave becomes sexually promiscuous, repeatedly having sex with people who look like the intended target. It's a sad life, really. By the end of World War II, one of the 3 major Illuminati global rituals was accomplished. This was the nuclear explosion that took place in 1945 at the 33rd parallel as a test for the nuclear attack on Japan. The explosion was symbolic, representing the simultaneous creation and destruction of matter and energy. The year was symbolic as well. In numerology, 1 plus 9 equals 10, representing the 10 aspects of God-mind. The number 1, or rather the number 10, further breaks down to 1 plus 0, which of course equals 1, representing the new beginning. And the continuing 45, 4 plus 5 equals 9, which represents the end of a cycle. So symbolically, the entire event represented the end of a cycle to prepare for a new beginning, using the new creation of God-mind out of destruction. So that is really fundamental to understand that. The symbolism is there all the time, and again, we're preparing a new beginning using the creation of the God-mind out of destruction, perhaps combining the two. Additionally, a cylinder containing material still not explained by the government was trucked into the nuclear explosion testing. This cylinder was made from pure steel and allegedly was the same physical dimensions as the Kabbalah describes for the creation of golems. So Kabbalah is ancient Hebrew metaphysics that has been a staple for the Illuminati for millennia. Golems are artificial beings that are used as a slave force. It's highly probable that this was a symbolic ritual for the creation of the Society of Golems. So World War II also allowed the European American Illuminati to destroy the Japanese Illuminati desires of global domination. The Japanese royal family, represented by Emperor Hirohito, have always been ostracized as non-legitimate by their ruling 13 families. The Japanese claim to be direct descendants of Lemurian purebred reptilians. So the European American Illuminati claim that the Japanese Illuminati are descendants from a lower species of the Draco hierarchy. This lower species is considered a worker class without any political clout or influence. The European American Illuminati also claim that East Indians are a lower species of the Draco hierarchy. The 13 ruling families consider light skin and hair to be an elite characteristic, much as the Nazis did. So on January 17th, 1994, Japan sent a seismic event to California. Most people don't realize that year, exactly 1 year later, on January 17th, 1995, the city of Kobe, Japan, was seismically destroyed. Kobe was the home of the Japanese electromagnetic weaponry centers. So the European American Illuminati will not tolerate thorns in their side. The destruction of Japan and its royal family will continue. Every year the Illuminati holds meetings to plan the events of the coming year to accomplish their main objectives, formulated millennia ago, of global control and domination. In the 1850s, they pinpointed their target date for complete domination with an agenda called Plan 2000. This has since been revised. The fiasco election of George W. Bush Jr. to office is a key sign that they are still on their target. Public lesson of the United States presidential election of 2000 is that the citizens do not vote for anyone. Even the Illuminati are now finding it increasingly difficult to conceal their plans. However, they're still winning. As you saw in the last election, your choices were Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. So it kind of goes along with citizens don't actually vote for anyone. It's just, I don't know, if you actually think about it, this conspiracy theory is very much in line with today. And again, I've said Rome never actually fell. We're living in it today. So I want you to think about and comment on this theory of the ruling elite 13 families and the Illuminati, as well as the Roman Catholic Church and these reptilians. Let me know what you think, and if you have anything to add to this video or potentially future videos, please let us know in the comments section. Please like and share the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.